If you walked into a professional garage and asked the lead mechanic what they drive, you might expect them to say something brand new, a shiny SUV or a sleek hybrid fresh off the lot. After all, they spend their days surrounded by cars. They know every system, every innovation, every upgrade. Surely they'd want the latest and greatest. But here's the surprise. When you actually ask mechanics what they drive, you'll hear a totally different story. Across Europe, almost every professional mechanic I spoke with drives something between 10 and 17 years old cars from around 2008 to 2015, with a special love for models built between 2010 and 2012. And no, it's not because they can't afford new cars, it's because they know something the rest of us don't. They've seen inside every engine, every gearbox, every failed electrical system. They've watched the industry evolve from durable, fixable machines into rolling computers that demand dealership permission just to change a battery. And what they've discovered is a hidden sweet spot in car history, a short window when vehicles were built better, simpler and cheaper to own for life. The mechanic's sweet spot. Let's start with the basics. Mechanics don't just see cars when they're new, they see them when they break. They see what fails, how often it fails, and what it costs to fix. After years of watching patterns repeat in their workshops, a consensus quietly formed. The cars built roughly between 2008 and 2012 hit the perfect balance. These were the years after automakers had ironed out decades of mechanical flaws, but before they discovered the profit potential of over-engineering and software locks. Cars from this era had everything you actually need. Bluetooth, cruise control, parking sensors, climate control, but they didn't need proprietary tools, online coding access, or a paid subscription just to service them. A mechanic in Munich summed it up best. The 2010 BMW was the last honest BMW. Real engines, real buttons. I can fix everything with normal tools. That's the essence of the golden era. Machines designed to be used, not leased. When reliability turned into revenue. Around 2013, something fundamental changed. The industry realized that complexity could be profitable. Manufacturers began adding features that looked like progress, but quietly shifted control away from the owner and toward the dealer network. A simple brake job that used to take an hour suddenly needed a laptop and brand-specific software. Replacing a battery once a 20-minute task now requires coding, a fancy word for paying the dealer to approve it. Mechanics started noticing the pattern. The frequency of repairs stayed about the same, but the cost of those repairs tripled. In 2010, the average repair on a mid-range sedan cost around €400. By 2020, that same job on a newer model cost more than $1,200, often for the same failure, just buried behind layers of electronics. And that wasn't by accident. Modern cars aren't necessarily less reliable. They're just more expensive to maintain once they do break. That's the business model now. What mechanics actually drive. Ask the people who fix cars for a living what they choose for themselves, and you'll notice a theme. It's not about brand loyalty or luxury badges, it's about what lasts. You'll hear answers like these: a 2010 Honda Accord, a 2009 Skoda Octavia, a 2012 Toyota Avensis, a 2011 Mazda 6, or an early Mercedes E-Class W212. Every one of those cars was built during that golden window, after the major mechanical issues of the early 2000s were solved, but before electronics took over every bolt and bearing. They're the cars that just keep going. The Accord's 2-litre petrol and 2.2 diesel engines are nearly bulletproof. The Octavia's 1.9 and 2.0 TDIs are legendary among European mechanics. The Avensis, it's so reliable it's become boring, but that's exactly the point. And the early W212 Mercedes, the last E-Class that feels engineered to last decades instead of warranty periods. These aren't glamorous choices, but they're the kind of cars you buy once, service properly, and drive for 10 more years with minimal stress. When the industry crossed the line. So what exactly happened after 2012? Mechanics can list the culprits in their sleep. Start-stop systems. They save a thimble of fuel, but they hammer your starter motor and destroy expensive AGM batteries every 2 years. Direct injection only engines. Great for efficiency tests, terrible for carbon buildup. Mechanics now charge €800 for intake cleaning every 40,000 kilometers. Wet timing belts, especially in newer PSA engines. They run inside the oil system, disintegrate early, and take the whole engine with them. Electronic parking brakes. A 10-minute cable replacement turned into a laptop-assisted operation. And the big one, integrated infotainment. Lose that touchscreen, you lose half the car. Climate control, radio, even some safety systems. And that screen costs €2,000 or more to replace. These aren't innovations. They're financial time bombs dressed up as progress, the real cost of ownership. Let's run the numbers. Imagine you buy a brand new compact car for €35,000. After 3 years, you've lost $15,000 in depreciation. Add $6,000 more for maintenance and repairs over 7 years. That's a total cost of more than €55,000 just to own something that will be worth barely half that at trade-in. Now compare that to the mechanic's choice, a well-kept 2010 Honda Accord bought for €4,000. Even with generous maintenance, you'll spend maybe $12,000 to $15,000 total over 7 years. And when you sell it, you might get half your money back, because good examples of these golden era cars are actually rising in value. That's the secret every mechanic understands. Depreciation is far more expensive than the occasional repair. Why modern cars are harder to fix. It's not just about parts, it's about access. Modern vehicles are built with encrypted control modules that require factory authorization to program. Even independent garages must pay thousands for diagnostic licenses just to perform basic services like resetting oil change lights. It's a closed ecosystem. For you, the owner, that means dependence on the dealership for everything. For the manufacturer, it means recurring revenue long after the sale. A 2010 Golf can be serviced by any competent garage. A 2022 Golf might not even let you retract the electronic handbrake without a laptop and paid software access. Mechanics hate this trend. They see it as the end of true car ownership, where even replacing your own battery or installing new brakes requires corporate permission. The art of smart modernization. Here's where things get interesting. Mechanics don't just keep their older cars stock, they upgrade them intelligently. With a little investment, you can bring a golden era car up to modern comfort standards without inheriting the complexity. They'll fit a €200 Android Auto or Apple CarPlay unit, giving full navigation and voice control. They'll add proper legal LED lighting for improved visibility. A few hundred spent on quality suspension components can make an old car drive like new. That's how you get the best of both worlds: modern convenience and old-school reliability. It's also worth noting that while some mechanics modify emission systems for off-road use, such changes are illegal on public roads in most countries. A well-maintained diesel from this era can still meet regulations without tampering. Cars to avoid. Even in that golden window, there were exceptions. Engines and models so troublesome that even professionals stay away. The BMW N47 diesel is a prime example. The timing chain sits at the back of the engine. When it fails, and it will, it's a nightmare to replace. The Volkswagen 1.4 TSI twin-charger combined a turbo and supercharger for performance, but the complexity made it one of the least reliable small engines of the 2000s. Early Renault and Nissan 1.5 diesels suffered injector and turbo failures. Later versions improved, but the reputation stuck. And if a mechanic ever drives a Range Rover, it's probably on the way to the shop. Every single year, they keep the lights on for mechanics everywhere. The long-term picture. Here's what's really driving the shift. Modern cars are becoming disposable. They might still run after 10 years, but will they be worth fixing? That's the key question. As software updates end and electronic modules go out of production, the cost to repair even minor issues can exceed the car's value. Meanwhile, older mechanical cars remain serviceable indefinitely. Their parts are affordable, their systems understandable, and they don't need a factory login to function. That's why many mechanics are quietly stockpiling cars from this era, buying up clean examples to keep for decades. One Polish technician told me he already owns 3 2011 Skoda Octavias, just in case the newer ones become unfixable. That might sound extreme, but it's becoming a smart form of insurance. What to look for if you want one. If you're tempted to join the mechanics and find your own golden era car, here's what to look for. Full service history is non-negotiable. Mileage under 150,000 kilometers is ideal. Inspect for rust, especially underbody and subframes. Confirm the timing belt or chain has been replaced on schedule, and if you live in a city with low emission zones, check diesel compliance before you buy. A healthy budget between 3,000 and 6,000 euros will get you something genuinely good, a car that can outlast most new leases if treated right. Why mechanics know. Best mechanics don't make decisions based on marketing. They base them on data, on what actually fails and what doesn't. They've identified this narrow band of cars as the sweet spot for one simple reason. They combine just enough technology to make daily driving easy without crossing into the era of digital dependency. These cars have engines that thrive on regular oil changes instead of dealer diagnostics, transmissions that can be repaired without special access codes, and repairs that cost hundreds, not thousands. The bigger truth. The automotive industry has changed direction. It's no longer about longevity, it's about life cycle management, about steering owners into a constant loop of leasing, servicing, and software subscriptions. But mechanics have quietly opted out. They've voted with their wallets, choosing the last generation of cars that put engineering before encryption. They don't drive 15-year-old cars because they're nostalgic. They drive them because they know, better than anyone, how fragile and expensive modern cars have become. One veteran mechanic in Frankfurt put it perfectly. People think we drive old cars because we can't afford new ones, but we drive old cars because we know exactly what new ones cost to own. Final thoughts. So the next time you see a mechanic climbing into a slightly faded, decade-old sedan, don't assume they're behind the times, they're ahead of the curve. They've found the sweet spot, that short window in history where cars were advanced enough to be comfortable but still simple enough to last a lifetime. They're not stuck in the past. They're protecting themselves from the future. Because while the rest of us pay subscriptions for heated seats and app access, they're quietly cruising in cars that just work. And that's the real secret every mechanic already knows.